not only do we really care about the community, like I want the community to succeed. This is where I live. This is where I'm from. But everybody is still there a lot of times. And I don't want to fail spectacularly in front of my 5th grade teacher. How embarrassing.
Welcome back to your favorite local podcast, Connections in Cowlitz, sponsored by Serve Pro of Longview Kelso and the Mattress Superstore. I'm Katie Keaton, local realtor with Realty One Group Pacifica.
And I'm Gabby Graves, your local lender with Synergy One Lending.
And we are so excited today because we have Jen Engkraf here. She is the owner of Vault Books and Brew, and she is also the guest from our Lost episode.
Bow, bow, bow.
Yes. Anytime we refer to the Lost episode, it's Jen's. But now we're doing it times 2, second time around. It's going to be even better than the first, and we can't wait to get into everything. We're going to talk about the vault, and we are going to talk about all things Castle Rock.
Talk about the vault inside vault.
Yeah, there's that too.
Yes.
Yeah.
And just let you guys know, in 10 years from now, when you're still watching and we're super famous, we're going to drop the real Lost episode. It'll be like a treat, like the Wu-Tang album. If you know, you know.
It's all the lost secrets.
Yeah.
So hello, Jen.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm doing great.
Okay, my first question for you, for people that haven't been to Vault, give us 5 adjectives. Throw out 5 words.
Adorable.
What would you use to describe your place of business?
Gosh, inviting, unique, warm. Is smells good one?
Yeah.
Okay, I think so. Awesome.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Well, and you say warm, which is so true. Today, as I was getting dressed, I was like, oh, I'm going to wear this flannel. It's, starting to be winter, but also it's cozy, and the Vault is truly the coziest place in Cowlitz County, I would say.
I think so.
I totally agree. Yeah. And there's something about it, I wouldn't say it's whimsical, but there's something about the bank vault inside the vault that makes it a little whimsical.
It's just like, what kid wouldn't want to be like, oh, a hidden bank vault and like there's books in there.
And that's what makes it fun.
Yeah.
It's not just a bookstore. It's not just a place to eat. It is a place to kind of go for a little day adventure. Yeah.
And I love that you can't just like go in and go out because I have stuff everywhere. Because it's just, when I opened Vault, I wanted it to just be like a reflection of who I was. And so I think when you walk in, if you know me or if you've like known me for a long time, you're like, I know who owns this.
Book, ice cream, and coffee.
Yep, and it's complete chaos. It's Jen. That's totally Jen.
Okay.
So, yeah, I have stuff everywhere on the walls, art that I've made or art that I've found or just motivational quotes or demotivational quotes if you look hard enough. Just all kinds of stuff. So people can spend a day just like looking at stuff and either being inspired or terrorized or whichever.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
Well, and you source a lot of the books, correct?
I do, yeah. So I buy from a vendor and then I also take in used books, which is a great way to turn over the inventory for stuff that I wouldn't normally buy because I love to read, but I'm not super great in certain genres. And so when people bring in their books to trade, it's books I wouldn't necessarily buy, but other people are going to buy. So it's a good way to keep it fresh and to keep it for everybody. Because that is the thing with a bookstore, like you want... Or like the quote that people have said about libraries, we have something to offend everyone. So I want something to offend everyone. I just try to have something for everybody.
Yeah.
I've heard that before.
Something to offend everyone. That is true. That's how you get people talking.
Yep. Exactly.
So you source a lot of the books. You said genre, there's certain genres that you're not as familiar with. What are your favorite genres?
Oh, man. I'm such a nerd. Like, I really like... downer nonfiction.
Downer?
Downer nonfiction. Like, I like politics and sociology and feminism and things that make me angry. I don't know why. I'm just drawn to that. And true crime. I'm listening to the new book that came out about the Murdoch family.
Oh, yes.
I'm obsessed. I was listening to it in the car and I'm like, do I have to do this podcast right now? Like, they're just about to drop the news. But
deep in the murder hole.
I am. So I love true crime and I love literary fiction a lot. I am very deficit in romance books because I have a cold black heart and they do not speak to me. And not super, I like sci-fi a little bit, fantasy a little bit, but I'm a little rusty with those. So I try to get as many used books as I can for those, to try to appeal to everybody.
Yeah,
Nice.
absolutely. Well, I remember
I'm
too,
intrigued.
and you give great recommendations as well. And
That's my favorite thing in the whole world.
That is one thing that is different about going to just
Like if you go to Amazon, great.
And, yeah, exactly. Where it's like if you walk into Vault, you can say, hey, this is the type of book that I like to read. What do you recommend? Which I actually did during the shutdown. I reached out to you and said, hey,
I'm going crazy.
I haven't read in a couple of years. Like I have a lot of time on my hands right now.
It's like having a dating service. Like it's like matchmaking. I love it. I love to find that perfect book.
That's hilarious.
And it really takes somebody who has read a lot or just knows a lot of different things. Because like I have some of the most random books, but if you're like, hey, I'm looking for like bicycle zombie lesbian nonfiction, I literally have a book called Pedal Zombies at the store. So I'm like, I've had it for like 4 years, and I'm ready for someone to walk in and be like, so I'm looking for this thing, and I'm like, oh my god, I have it. One day,
hit us up.
It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. It's still there. I know right where it is.
If that sounds good to you,
you
know where to go.
I have it.
All right.
Locally published in Portland.
We're going to find a Facebook group to share this reel on to get that book sold for you.
I've had it for a long time, and every time I clean the shelves, I'm like, somebody's going to want you so bad.
I get
It's going to be like the thing that clicks to make their whole life worthwhile.
I'm intrigued because I definitely, I would like to read more, and I do audiobook, but I
love audiobooks too.
I can't, it depends on the audiobook. Sometimes I lose focus. So as far as, and I'll do a lot of like business, motivational things on audiobook, but I do like the dark and twisty. I like the murder stuff. Well, wait, that sounded bad. I don't like murder. Murder's bad, but like, I like the true crime. That's what I meant to say. I like the true crime.
I have a really good one for you if you like dark. Yeah.
I'm going to eat ice cream for breakfast next week, and we'll talk about the dark and twisty.
Okay, perfect.
Connections and Cowlets is sponsored by your locally owned and operated ServPro Longview Kelso, the #1 residential and commercial cleanup company in the U.S. They help with smoke and fire damage, water cleanup, vandalism cleanup, mold remediation, and more. Remember, when you're a homeowner, you get a say in who comes into your home. Locally owned, locally operated, ServPro Longview Kelso.
Also, a big thank you to the Mattress Superstore, another locally owned and operated business. If you want to get comfortable, you need to get into the Mattress Superstore with their location on Vandercook Way or their new factory outlet store off of West Cowlitz Way. They deliver, they set up, and they always pay the sales tax. A big thank you to the Mattress Superstore. Well, speaking of ice cream, that was kind of a later addition to the store.
That was my husband's idea.
Okay.
So it was there when we opened. It just wasn't my idea, so I don't always think about it because I only like things that are mine. I'm a Leo. Like, what am I supposed to do?
Yeah, exactly.
People come in and ask for ice cream, and you're like, wait, what? Oh, that's right.
Oh,
okay.
that whole thing.
Yeah,
but no, it has been literally like the most popular thing. It gets all the kids in and stuff. But my husband's like, oh, we should do ice cream. I'm like, oh, whatever, we're not doing ice cream. And then we did ice cream.
It'll never sell.
Yeah, and it's been, it doesn't matter if it's Christmas Eve and it's like 2 degrees. It's ice cream. People want ice cream.
Yeah. Well, I picked my daughter up from school just a couple days ago, and I wasn't even thinking about the fact that, I'm about to have Jen in. Maybe I should go to Vault. It wasn't even that. I picked her up from school. She'd had a bad day, and I was like, do you want to go get ice cream? It's like, yeah, I really do. Aww. So we went down, and that was her little pick-me-up. Yep. And especially for, being in Castle Rock, you serve a really important purpose in that outer area where it's like there's not really that many places to go. I didn't want to drive her all the way into town, So it's like, okay, we can go to Castle Rock, we can get ice cream, and we got a book, and we read it together, which that's not her favorite. So it was like a win-win-win-win-win all the way around.
Nice.
The kids come for the ice cream, stay for the books.
That's exactly it. I was with all the 3rd graders on Tuesday because I have a literacy program called Rocket Boost Literacy. So it's kind of replacing Riff. And so I was with all the 3rd graders, and I was like, okay, who knows Vault Books and Brew? And they all raise their hand. I'm like, what's your favorite part? They're like, ice cream. I'm like, there is ice cream. And also, you're surrounded by books. And they're like, yeah, that's fine too. But it does. It gets them in. And then in my heart, I think it normalizes reading. Like,
yes,
it's not something like weird. It is something weird people do because I'm a weird people, but it's something normal people do. It's a normal activity. It's a normal hobby. And so they see that there's a whole like store full of books, and then people buy the books, and then they go home and read the books, and that's not weird.
Right.
Well, and I think one thing that I didn't realize as a kid is, to me, reading was a homework item, a chore, something I had to get through. It wasn't, my mind's busy, I want to clear my mind and just have a moment to myself. I'm going to take 10 minutes to read, 15 minutes to read. To me, reading was always, I better sit down and read for at least 2 hours if I'm going to make something of it. And so I wasn't a casual reader, and I wished I was. And so having that cozy environment, being able to snack on ice cream, you go there, you go for the ice cream, you stay for the books, you stay for the cozy. That's what really lifts you up. And I think that makes reading more of a comfort hobby for people, you know?
Yeah.
I think so. It taught me, I had a super unconventional childhood, and it taught me like, oh, these are the dynamics of a family, or this is what this looks like, and this is what that looks like. So as much as TV did also, I think reading was a little healthier.
Well, you can impose yourself into book characters
Yeah.
even a little bit easier than
So
TV
true.
because, you know, the
Yeah.
TV characters have their look, they have everything. Where
Right.
in a book, it's your imagination.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
It doesn't matter like who it is. Like
Yeah.
I can put myself in that situation.
Absolutely. Well, and then of course you have the coffee as well, which I'm drinking out of a Vault coffee mug right now.
A camper mug.
A camper mug,
for
and it
sale
is
now.
perfect. Jen gifted it to me last episode, so today I was like, must bring my mug. But honestly, I had to wash it because I used it yesterday for my coffee. Because if it is clean, it is what I'm drinking my coffee.
It's my
out of.
absolute favorite mug. It's the best because I looked far and wide for like what represents, because I'm kind of a control freak sometimes. Like, what represents Vault? And it was the shape, because I was like, oh, influencers, like you have your sweater and then you hold it down and you're like, oh my God, I'm an influencer. Look at me. And it worked with that. And it's a good size, 12 ounce. 12 ounces of coffee is not worth it.
Yeah, no, this holds is like a whole 16 ounce.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
It goes in the microwave. It's dishwasher safe, because I'm not going to give you something that's not dishwasher safe, because who's going to hand wash? Please.
I'm not.
Or microwave safe.
No, come on. What?
I lose my coffee 10 times a
Oh,
day.
I was going to say, as moms,
Right?
it's like we all know that we're heating up our coffee multiple times.
Yes.
No,
Yes.
it's got to be beneficial for everybody. So I'm not going to sell it if it's not.
Yeah. So yeah, people can come in, they get their coffee, ice cream, there's books. It is all around a great time, and it is such a staple in Castle Rock. We were just talking about the fact that you're about to celebrate 9 years, and you really were a huge turning point in the revitalization of downtown Castle Rock. So talking about the businesses that have come in, you also mentioned that a lot of the business owners, including yourself, are Castle Rock graduates.
Yeah, I think that's really unique and really fun. I graduated from Castle Rock, so did my husband, and then just walking out the door of Vault and looking both ways, I can see businesses that are owned by Castle Rock graduates.
That's really
people
special.
that I went to school with, or that were a little older, a little younger than me, and I think that's really important, because we not only do we really care about the community, like I want the community to succeed. This is where I live. This is where I'm from, but everybody is still there a lot of times, and I don't want to fail spectacularly in front of my 5th grade teacher. How embarrassing. So I work really hard to succeed, because it's all these people that were like my heroes growing up, like the librarian and my friends' parents and all that. Like I want to succeed really bad, because it's my heart and my community. And I think if I open this in like Vegas or Tualatin or something, I'd be like, well, you know, you win some, you lose some, it's fine. Like, well, these people don't care.
Right.
But now I'm like, I don't want to suck in front of these people.
Right. Well, and I bet that it's also, you want to help them succeed too.
I do, yeah.
And they want to help you succeed. So these business owners are sending their friends and family, themselves there. They're visiting you. And so, you know, the more that you guys prosper together, you prosper individually.
Well, and that's why I try not to sell things that other businesses sell. I mean, obviously there's a lot of coffee places and stuff, but I don't do some coffee drinks that other places do, and I do some coffee drinks that other places don't. And it's just a different feel. Like I'm not necessarily competition with Cowlitz Coffee and with Luckman, because they have a drive-through. I cannot compete with that. There's no way.
Yeah.
But I want you to come in and sit down and relax and meet a friend. It's totally different. It's apples and oranges. So they're not my competition.
Yes.
I don't
totally
bake
agree.
anything there, so I'm not competition with the bakery. Like I don't know how to make a donut. Sorry. I have bagels, which are diet donuts. But other than that,
Are they
diet
yeah.
donuts?
Oh yeah, they are totally.
I feel like bagels have more calories than a donut.
Bagels are the worst. They're the equivalent of 5 pieces of bread.
Yeah, bagels are, it's just, they're so compact. They're so dense.
Yeah. But you feel better.
Yeah.
I don't, but somehow.
But it's just like, they don't taste as good, so you're like, oh, it's diet.
Yeah. So I don't have fresh baked goods. I mean, I do have fresh baked goods. I have Homer bread turnovers and cookies, which are phenomenal. She sells at all the farmers markets and that kind of stuff. So I do have, what'd you do?
Dropped her phone.
My phone. Sorry, guys.
I do have that kind of stuff, but I don't have like what the bakery would sell.
Yeah. Also, one other thing that I think maybe sets you apart is the fact that there have been people that want to get married.
Yes.
At Vault.
Yes.
What? In the vault?
Uh-huh.
Not
in it
the
specifically.
vault.
The acoustics are bad.
okay.
But I've had weddings there. I've had one celebration of life there. It's a celebration of life, not a funeral, I ask, because I'm like, Grandpa's not going to be here, right? Just to make sure. So it was a celebration of life. So we had a celebration of life.
I can't fit him through the door. Sorry.
I know, right?
Sorry. Okay.
We had tons of senior pictures there. We've had, so 2 of my employees have had engagement pictures there. One of my employees took the engagement pictures for the other employees. My employees are my babies and my family, and so they're always my employees. Whether they leave and go on, they're always mine. So I've had a couple of the girls take senior pictures there, and then they've had their baby showers there, their wedding showers there. So they're my little babies, and now my little babies are all around graduating.
I literally people are growing up there. That's sweet.
I know.
Can you imagine
9
being
years.
an employee that you had your senior photos there, your engagement photos there, you have your baby shower there. I mean, that is.
And I have one that just came. She had her senior pictures there. She had her baby shower there. Might have had her wedding shower there too, and then now she's back working after having a baby. And
I love it. Such a staple.
I love it. They're my island of misfit toys.
Our previous guest, one of our previous guests, Rhonda Black, she's a huge fan.
Love her. Yes.
She's a big fan of the vault, and I have gone the few times I've gone with her daughter, and then you 2 took me there.
Oh yeah, we did.
Yes, and it is. Cozy is the perfect word for it. It has great lighting. I'm a big fan of good lighting.
Yeah. Giant windows,
natural lighting. And it's just, I don't know, it's just a calm, happy place to be.
Yeah. And a lot of things that I do are specific to keep it that way. I try to have a certain type of music playing, and I try to have, acoustically, it's important to me. The way it smells is important to me, because I obviously am a big fan of bookstores, but I don't like going into used bookstores and they smell funky or weird. I don't know.
Before you take in a used book, do you smell it really fast and you're like, this one I'll take?
I get a lot.
Sniff.
I do. Some of the vintage books smell amazing. They absolutely smell amazing. But then I get a lot of grandma's Harlequin romances from the 80s, and they smell like cigarette smoke and
like old Marbs.
Yeah, and perfume, and I'm like, I'm gonna pass on these.
We should have done. Oh my gosh, we should do a book sniff test with Jen and have her blindfolded.
1982 Harlequin.
Sniff it. What is this? Sniff it, and she's like Merriam-Webster dictionary. It's just whatever.
I have a book sniffer. I like the feel of pages and
So speaking of the fact that you do put a lot of consideration into the lighting, into the decor of the store, into the sounds and the smells. Last time we talked, we really dug into the fact that branding is a big part of your past. That it was your former job was in kind of that arena.
Yeah, in communications, I worked with the Department of Emergency Management, and I did a lot of social media. And
locally here?
Yeah.
Oh my
I worked for the county. Yeah.
You're the emergency management?
Not anymore.
But you used to be.
I did, for 10 years.
If you know, you know.
Well,
she was the lady.
I was the one. So I learned a lot about social media. I also used to work for FEMA, and I would travel around the United States and teach social media to emergency managers and police chiefs and fire and stuff. But I really learned the value of not just a logo, but something that makes people feel comfortable, something that makes you look like you know what you're talking about. It goes so far to have a really strong logo. I've always been a dork about fonts. I have very specific feelings about fonts. Yes. So if you roll up and you've got curls and papyrus, I cannot take you seriously. Right. You are a clown. So
you are a clown.
You are a clown, and you have to go.
I need to look at this font right now.
I am very big on
Comic
fonts.
Sans.
No.
Let's just go through all the fonts, and you can tell us
well, in the color of the font. That's the thing. You can have a nice font, but the color. Or you can hate a font, but then put it on the right flyer or the right, the right vibe of something. Yeah. It makes all the difference.
Okay, we'll have to get your opinion because I hate the font that we have
and
for
our logo.
Our thumbnails and our logo, and I just made them on Canva, quickly, and we have been desperately trying to get someone to redo our logo for us.
We're going through a rebranding.
But we just haven't been able to find a person that responds to us that says they want to do it.
I'll definitely criticize whatever you want, because
that's
my favorite.
That.
Yeah, be like, ew, gross, get it away from my face.
And I'm like, what about this font? And you're like, no.
I'm going to barf all over it right now. No, I'm really huge on fonts. I'm just a monster about fonts. I hate a bad font. I hate formatting wrong.
That's another thing too. So do you remember the Artemis Fowl books?
Yes.
Okay. And they had a different font in, like, the books were a different font than basically everything else.
Yeah, so is Harry Potter. Yeah. It has a really specific font.
Yes. And it just, like, set it apart where I'm like, oh, you could look at a page of Artemis Fowl and be like, oh, I am currently reading Artemis Fowl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it brings you into that world. Same with Harry Potter. You're like, oh, this is real fancy. Like,
yeah.
Or they have the deckled edges where they're not straight edges. They're a little bit in. It's just, it's like a fancy feeling. So everything that you do with a business, I feel like it's a whole experience. Like the site, the smell, the logo, the branding, that kind of stuff. One of my biggest pet peeves before I opened a business in Castle Rock is the amount of businesses that have handwritten signs. That are crooked and spelled wrong, and like, I cannot take you seriously. I'm so sorry. And I know in Castle Rock sometimes that flies, but I'm a jerk and I can't. So I'm never gonna have. I mean, every once in a while I'll do like closed early or something like that, because I'm not gonna do a whole Canva thing.
Right.
But you have to look professional.
Yes.
And I think that's one of the things that set me apart in Castle Rock is I'm absolutely a stickler for looking professional, because a lot of people, like, they'll come in and they'll think I'm part of a franchise or I'm part of this, and I'm like, no.
You're like,
Please,
thank
darling.
you so much.
Yeah.
One in a
No,
million.
it's just me.
Yeah.
But that is the importance of branding and of looking really professional.
It's the way your customer feels when they go to that place is
it's
what
a
branding
cohesion.
is. It is.
Yeah, and they're like, you're not going to go out of business in 2 weeks because you don't know what you're doing. So it's that thing of, oh, okay, well, in a month you'll still be here, and I'll keep coming back. And it's just something that makes people feel like you know what you're doing, even when you literally have no idea from day to day what you're doing or how you've gotten this far.
If you've got the right font.
Really, you can go far. Like teal papyrus, no, you're not going to go anywhere in life.
I really can be serious. Okay, I want you. Wait, time out. What's the thing? Slay.
Oh.
Partial slay. Absolutely tragic.
Yeah. Slay, partial slay, absolutely tragic. Well, you can be honest.
You can be honest, because we know we hate it. So you can say it's tragic.
So it's digitized.
Well,
that's because that's the quality of the canvas.
Yeah. She's thinking about it.
It's a bus company in the future.
Yes,
bus company in the future. Okay.
It looks like a transit logo.
Okay,
like
you know what I was going. Yeah, it does. You know what I was going for, which I do think maybe I got, but I don't know if I wanted. So when this is behind the scenes stuff right now, guys. Sorry, I hope this is not the most boring thing you've ever heard. Okay, so we were figuring this out almost a year ago, honestly, and it was when everything was very much like centennial. So
it's trying to be Art Deco?
Yes.
I feel like it's trying to be Art Deco.
It's trying to be, but it fails. Yeah. And then also like Three Rivers Mall, like the old Three Rivers Mall logo. I'm like, oh, it's Three Rivers Mall, like iconic Cowlitz County. I know it's bad. Okay, everybody.
I love to be a jerk about fonts.
Okay, everybody.
No, I love it. It is. It's tragic. So we're gonna fix it, and Jen's gonna help us.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll tell you.
We'll pay you.
I'll tell you what I think.
Well, speaking of cohesion and branding, I think that's one thing that really has turned Castle Rock downtown around in general.
Yes.
So let's talk a little bit about Castle Rock, a little bit about the stuff that's about to be going on, and some of the new businesses, if you don't mind, because I do feel like you are the ambassador.
I'm the boots on the ground.
The Castle Rock ambassador of fabulous.
Well, and it really did, I grew up in Silver Lake. I've been going to Castle Rock since I was 0 years old. You know what I mean? And my family lives there. My cousin and I used to wander the streets of Castle Rock as a child, And I don't think everyone really appreciates the turnaround that Castle Rock has had unless you really were there for it. Like, the turnaround's crazy.
Yeah. If you were there in 1999,
right,
like, you can really be like, what has happened?
Exactly. Right. And so for the people that come down, obviously the flowers, the America in bloom of it all, but really, you guys do seem to come together to create a lot of cohesion as businesses. Would you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. America in Bloom has been absolutely instrumental. The flowers are incredible. I have people drive from all over just because they've seen it on Facebook, and they're like, oh, we saw this podcast that this lady did, and she's in Castle Rock, and we want to see it. I don't even know how they do all of what they do.
I don't either.
Phenomenal. The cleanliness of the town is really nice. And then the Halloween Jamboree that's coming up, they've got really great signage for that, and it looks so professional and awesome. It makes me so happy. I just drove by it yesterday. I was like, yes, you're doing it. It's happening.
Awesome.
Yeah, so it looks really good. That brings a ton of people into town. Festival of Lights has gotten absolutely huge.
We hear about that one every year.
Oh my gosh, it's amazing. Absolutely amazing. Just the schools and the businesses and the families and everybody comes together and just makes it a really good time. It's not only good for businesses, it's great for people to have an excuse to come to Castle Rock for one, because some people are so funny about like making a drive up the freeway. They're like, oh, I don't know. And then once you finally get them there, it's like the threshold theory. Once you finally get them through the threshold, they're like, oh my gosh, this has been here the whole time.
Well, and it's like 10 minutes
It
away.
is literally
it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
I know.
It takes just as long to drive from Longview to Kelso.
Yeah.
Maybe
Literally.
longer if you're going to Kelso High.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a straight shot on the freeway. You get right off the freeway.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's really not that big of a deal. But it's just one of those mental hang-ups. When I was studying to open a business, that threshold theory was a big thing. Like trying to get, if someone's on the outside and they're looking in, they're like, oh, that's kind of cool. I don't necessarily know if I want to go in. But once they walk in, then when they take in everything, they're like, oh, this is great. I'm going to come back here. I'm going to tell my friends. And then, because I don't do a ton of advertising, but it's a lot of word of mouth. Like, oh my gosh, I went to this great place and you got to go here.
Absolutely. That's so true. I've heard about you from so many of my friends and family. And that's what they say. You have to go here. This place is amazing.
Because I think that's what's going to make you go there more than you see an ad in the Columbia River Reader. You're like, oh, that looks cute. But you're not going to actually take the steps to get in the car and go there. But if your mom and your cousin are like, you have to go to this place, then you're like, okay, they probably know.
Absolutely.
So I'd rather spend my money making a really good business and then having word of mouth.
If you build it, they will come.
Right?
Right?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
exactly.
Yeah. Okay. If you build it, they will come. That is so true. But you have to get the first couple people in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's very true too.
And so that's why those festivals are nice, because they're like, oh, I really could use some coffee or something. And then they come in and they're like, what?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Well, we are pretty dang close to Halloween, especially by the time this episode comes out. And so I'm just going to give a quick little shout out to the Jamboree because it's so fun.
Tell us about it. I have to take my kids this year.
Oh,
I
it's
had
so
no
much
clue
fun.
what was going on. I feel like
I think it's
a
3 to
nincompoop.
5. Yeah, I think it's 3 to 5. Hopefully it's a nice day. The best ones are when it's a nice day because there's carnival games. So the school clubs get together, the clubs and the sports and all that. And so the kids are running the carnival games and they're getting hours for volunteering.
Oh, I love that.
So like my son does it for football and then FBLA does a thing and there's just all kinds of different games. And then the businesses and the churches and whoever else does a trunk or treat and they block off the street so you go to each one and
I love
trunk
that.
or treat and it's really fun. The fire department's there and the police and
See, here in Longview, it seems like we have a lot of separate things, and it makes it hard to be able to come to everything together.
Yeah.
I love that you have the downtown, the schools,
yeah,
the
everybody
churches,
gets
the
in on it.
churches,
the kids,
all coming together so that
Yeah.
it can be one big community event that everyone comes to.
And
that is
the
fantastic.
Piece de Resistance is the haunted house that is inside of the historic jail.
I think this year they're doing it inside the Blooms building. So it's
Okay.
the one that's next. It's in between mine and the new Thai food place that just
okay.
opened.
Oh,
They opened like last Tuesday.
Yeah,
so the haunted house,
Tasty?
Tasty Thai.
Tasty Thai?
Yeah.
I think.
taste it too.
The haunted house is epic. Absolutely
It's
epic.
scary.
It
Okay.
is really scary. Like
Is
it's not
there?
for little
So
kids.
don't- okay, I was
don't
just
bring
gonna
little
say.
kids unless you have like a really good insurance policy for therapy. Then that's fine. But it is like hardcore scary. The volunteers that put it on are just incredible. And then they do have like theater kids that come in and they like chase you and yeah, it's
Yeah,
very
scary.
cool. It's
Love. Okay.
awesome.
We should
So-
take the kids together.
We should. I go every year, girl. So
Yeah.
hop on, get on my level. Okay, so we talked about Castle Rock in general. We talked about Vault. Let's talk about some new businesses.
Yes, we have new businesses opening. It's been kind of stagnant since COVID. Not an ideal time to open a business. But we do have the new Thai place that opened, I think, last Tuesday. And she is working out everything. I think they're doing like a grand opening in a couple weeks, but she's just kind of, getting everything. I've heard
Tasty Thai is
Tasty
what's
Thai.
called?
I've heard not a bad thing. I've heard everything is incredible.
If you know, I love a good peanut sauce. So.
Oh, that's what I'm excited for. I can't wait. That's my favorite.
See, Jen's our girl.
Yeah,
hungry
It's
already.
good. I know, me too. And then Blue Flamingo is a boutique that is on the other side. It's kind of by the Oasis. I bought a sweatshirt there, and I bought my husband a T-shirt, and they have
men's clothes.
yeah,
Love.
It's my husband likes to hike, and he also hates people, and it's like hiking because people suck. I was like, oh, it's perfect. And
This
then
is-
I got one.
How is the font?
The font is good. It's
Okay.
actually great. And then I got one that's a skeleton coming out of a casket, and it says "Never been better."
And that's the blue flamingo.
Yes.
She would love your delusional sweatshirt.
Oh my gosh. I have a sweater. I wore it in the last podcast that just says delusional in big letters. And I loved it so much that I bought 2.
Nice.
I'm trying to buy one off of her, honestly.
I'm going to wear it so much that I need a backup because this is my new personality. Delusional. Perfect. It's my old personality, honestly. It's my current, past, future, former, present, all of it. It's my personality.
It. Well, they have all kinds of really cute stuff. You'll love it. They probably have a sweatshirt like that.
Well, and there are a lot more food places, too. Like, we did talk about the Thai, but, you know, we have the new Mexican restaurant in Castle Rock.
Yes, their carne asada burritos are so good. And then Peppers is opening back up, I think, a couple more weeks. They'll be open. I cannot wait. I've missed their hash browns. And then, Kim's Unique Boutique is in between Ashtown and whatever that surveyor place is.
Okay, and that place looks so cool. I drove by the other day when I was at Vault, and I want to go in, but it's a little hideaway. Like, it's a little hallway. You sneak
the stuff that
through.
she puts in there, because it's like if you read Harry Potter, it's like the Room of Requirement. Like,
that's what I was thinking.
It's so crazy because it looks so tiny, and then you go in, and there's so much stuff, and she really what do you call it? Curates everything. She has really cute stuff.
Yeah.
Downtown Castle Rock does give kind of like Dragon's Alley vibes.
You know what
I've always
think it
thought
gives?
that.
Stars Hollow.
Yeah, we get that a lot. Yeah.
Obviously.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yes, I
we
can
don't
see
have a
some
troubadour,
Dragon's Alley.
which would be nice if we had like a roaming troubadour.
You should. Well, you have
I'm not
the
going to,
music that plays on the loudspeakers, or does it do that anymore?
It does.
Okay.
There's mixed
There's mixed
feelings.
feelings? Okay. Well, I mean, during the holidays, if it's Christmas
During
music.
the holidays, it's fine. Being psychologically tortured by country music 9 hours a day is a lot.
You sound like my son. My son hates country music more than anything in the world.
But, you know, people
like it.
I guess.
Yeah. Okay. Moving on.
I have PTSD.
Okay, that's fair. It's like if you want to torture Jen, just like boost up the
Just
Dixie
play Prop Me Up
Chicks.
Beside the Jukebox 4 times a day on the hour, as loud as you can, in my face.
I can understand that. When I worked retail, there was a certain loop of songs that they played all the time. It has been 15 years. To this day, when it comes on the radio, boom, change. Like, I won't any of those songs. I'm sorry. It's not just one genre. It's multiple. I'm sorry to all those artists, but I hate every single one of those songs.
They're
it's
dead
not
to
against
Gabby.
it's not against you. It's just one too many Christmases, late nights. Yeah, no.
Yeah. Okay, that's fair. So, okay, we talked about some of the new businesses, but we always like to ask people, what's their favorite? Like, what's your hidden gem in Cowlitz County? It doesn't have to be Castle Rock. Absolutely can be. But what is your hidden gem that you don't think people take advantage of enough or know about?
Oh, my goodness. I feel like I never get to leave my store, so I don't know.
You can say Vault.
I mean, it's Brew.
It has everything I need except groceries. But yeah, let's see, a hidden gem. What's my favorite?
And it doesn't have to be a store.
I don't know that it's hidden, but I think about The Office. Is it 842?
Yes.
I think about their wedge salad probably twice a day.
$12 on Wednesday.
Yeah. Oh man, really?
Wedge Wednesday.
This day,
Bacon
Wednesday?
and everything.
Go?
Oh
Yeah.
man, I love their wedge salad.
And the worst part about it is how hard it is to eat it. They will cut it up for you.
Oh my gosh.
I shouldn't have said that on the air.
No, I like cutting it myself. I feel like it's satisfying. Like
I'm so embarrassing when I eat salad because I just eat it like a monster, and wedge salads are hard to eat. So yeah, it's kind of
They'll chop it for you.
Oh my god.
Okay, we love the wedge, but also if you ever go there for breakfast, my office thing, which I've probably talked about on the podcast before, they have breakfast pizza, but the sauce, it's like a flatbread. The sauce is country gravy.
Oh yes.
And then the toppings are like scrambled eggs and green onion and oh my gosh. Sausage gravy.
I'll
on
have
everything.
to try that.
Oh
I
my
don't
gosh,
know why
it's so good.
mentally I can't wrap my brain around that, but I'm sure it would be
So
delicious because I've never had anything there I didn't like.
I dream of it. Okay, well, Jen, you are no longer a lost episode. You're
Yay!
a true, real episode. We're so happy that we had you on.
Thank you.
I'm sure we'll probably ask you back in the future.
Okay. Yeah, if you want me to just like be really mean about fonts, I could do a whole hour, probably 3 hours if you want.
Honestly, this has been so
We're
much
sold.
fun, and you are so much fun. I want to hang out and have her criticize and critique all of our branding.
Everything we make on
and then
Canva.
we can eat.
Yeah,
let's just
absolutely.
let's just take a tour of
Yeah.
Castle Rock and eat yummy things
Yeah.
and just tell us like this is trash. This is trash. this is trash.
She's the Simon Cowell of our podcast.
Well, I always want to have like a design show where I just walk into houses and I'm like, gross, ew. Like, I'm not going to give you any way to fix it. I don't know how to fix it, but I will just be like...
You're one of those people that you're like, I don't know what I like, but I know what I don't like.
Nope, that's not it.
But I know what I don't like.
Don't know how to fix it, but I can tell you.
I love that.
Well, we do like you. Hopefully
good.
you like
Love
us as
you.
well,
Yes,
even
yes.
though our font is bad. And for all of you, thank you so much for tuning in. And we will see you on the next episode. Remember, Connections and Cowlitz is sponsored by Serve Pro of Longview Kelso and the Mattress Superstore.